for only VIP, so
What?
regular people can't go and visit the blue buildings.
Wait, they suspended the tours to the DMZ? So
Yeah.
how are the Maquis going to recruit?
So next week when I'm up in Seoul, I'm not going to be able to go visit it.
No.
But they do have tunnel tours,
Well,
or one of the tunnels that we found. So I get to do that.
Oh, so yeah, Maximum Security is the horse's name. Became the first horse in the Derby history to have a first place finish changed via disqualification.
wait,
What was the reason?
the winner got DQ'd?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
What, Father Drugs tested it by any chance?
I don't know. I'm going to ESPN right now to find out.
What was the horse's name?
Maximum Security.
My question is, did the horse vehemently deny it, and does he conveniently only have one test?
Country Horse has pulled off a huge upset win in the Kentucky Derby as stewards awarded the 65-1 long shot the victory following an objection that Maximum Security, the first horse to cross the finish line, interfered with the path of several horses. Maximum Security appeared to win the 145th Derby by 1 3/4 lengths in the mud after taking control out of the final turn at Churchill Downs. The objection was filed, and stewards took about 20 minutes to review the race from several angles before declaring Country House the winner.
Wait, I got a question. In racing with no clearly defined lanes, how can you really bitch about someone obscuring the path of others?
If they're constantly winding back and forth, that could be cause, I would think, but I don't know.
Wow. I
It's
get
like ice skating.
Well, I guess no. So here's the difference. The way I look at it is more like racing strategy. You pick your line either being an aggressive or defensive line that you take. So having that slight variance to your line, to me, would classify as a defensive tactic. But at the same time, like, if someone wants to go with like the interference rule in hockey, that I can kind of understand, because you can't just fucking lay out a guy who has the puck nowhere near him.
Hello.
I'm talking.
Hey,
I'm
Sean.
talking like ice racing, ice skating racing.
Oh, the speed track.
Yeah, those
I
guys
will
could get
just-
in trouble for cutting people off.
I'm off topic, but I'm extremely pissed off because I'm going to advise everybody in the world to never, ever, ever buy a Walkira product.
Uh-oh, what happened?
What happened?
Found out why I got nothing on the drone footage. Finally
No.
figured it out. Simply put, it is a massive, massive, dumbass design flaw with the Walkira controllers. They don't use wired controllers wired connections from the controller to your device, your iPad, whatever you're using as the actual viewing device. It's not a wired connection. It is actually a Wi-Fi connection. The problem is, it is an open connection that is not secured at all, and it reads as a Wi-Fi device. Every single phone that everybody had within range was trying to use the controller for internet data, because it's a Wi-Fi hub, basically. It literally got DDoSed from all of these requests for internet traffic.
Oh my
from
god.
from all of the cell phones that were surrounding me, because after the boost back was over, everybody on the beach came over to me in Astronomy Live with their phones. And every single phone tried to log in to my controller. I had very little active control of the drone. I had zero control of the camera, because that's actually transmitted to the device and not from the remote controller itself. I had no access to the controller through my device. That's why I had no video feed. I had no control of the camera's zoom. Nothing.
That sucks.
because everything was being tied up with 80 other phones trying to have access to the controller. I call that a design flaw.
Oh, just slightly.
Yeah.
No, that's called a feature.
Why?
No. Walkira is not owned by Google. We cannot pull that one.
So I'll be talking over this with Reds on a live stream tonight because I am absolutely furious about this. Because it never crossed my mind. I thought it would only allow one connection to
That would make sense.
the
Limit the
controller.
Yeah.
No, it's just all Wi-Fi devices are pinging this damn thing. Because most people have their phone set up to utilize the first available Wi-Fi device that it can detect instead of using mobile data.
Mhm.
And that's what all their phones fucking did.
You know, there is a simple programming fix for this from Walkira. Don't broadcast the SSID.
Well, it has to because
No, it doesn't.
well, it doesn't have to, but they chose to because they want the first device to actually use their software to be able to log into it. But it's not a logging in issue. It's the fact that everybody's just DDoSing the hell out of it, trying to get
ping
pinged.
it. Yeah, they're pinging it because it was like, ooh, are you a hotspot? Let me try to use you. And that's where if they simply put it to a non-broadcast SSID, then you connect through the app will know to look for it, but your random Joe Schmo walking up isn't.
Yeah, because I was at a loss during the whole lost transmission thing until I actually had, on the way back from Canaveral, I actually took like a 20-minute nap and my brain got enough rest to say, oh, wait, you first have to log in, or you first have to connect to the Wi-Fi device before you even start the Walkira app. So, yeah, it's everybody's phone was trying to access the internet through a non-internet device because it is a broadcast Wi-Fi device. That's why I had full control of the drone while everybody was scattered on the beach. Every now and then we get like a little skip as, you know, Astronomy Live's phone right next to me would try to log in, but that's just one other phone, not a big deal. But once the SpaceX Rainbow was over, they couldn't see anything, so they all came over to the guy with the telescope and the drone. And we were surrounded by everybody on the beach. And I had zero connection to the drone at that point, at least from the iPad. So I couldn't see what the drone was looking at, and it turns out that I was actually the drone was pointed too far south at the time of landing. So it was out of frame. Oh, I'm so pissed. I'm not a happy guy.
I don't blame you because like I said, it is a simple fix.
Yeah, require a username and password to log into the fucking controller. That's all it would take, even just a password.
Yeah.
That way it's not getting incessant, give me data, give me data, give me data. You're not giving me data, give me data, give me data. Or at least transfer it to UDP instead of TCP.
Well, another thing, actually, having the login requirement wouldn't really help because you would still have devices trying to ping connectivity to it while it shoots back with login required. So you would still have that.
That's the thing though. If they set it up with a password login, limit it to one single connection at a time, and it would ignore all other pings.
Yeah, you could go that way.
I mean, it's a simple fix, but you know, Walkira's been around for a while, and I'm pretty sure if I looked into it, they probably still have. I'm pretty sure that even with their newer controllers with the Voyager 5 and their actual professional commercial drones, probably still use the same Wi-Fi setup because they're not expecting people to draw a crowd with drones. So yeah, I'm going to have a sternly written letter when I get home about that one.
You know, there is a simple solution to that, though. If you're having an issue with people with frequency interference with all that,
well, it's not a frequency thing. It's not a frequency thing. They're literally DDoSing the controller, doing internet requests for something that doesn't have access to the internet.
That's nice.
Yeah,
It's effectively a DDoS attack, but it's not anything malicious. It's just a dumbass design choice that Walkira made.
They haven't fixed that shitty hole yet?
No, they never will.
God damn it. I think I heard of that hole, what, about 3-4 years ago? First on the Parrot AR drone. Okay, they don't make the Walkira, but still.
It's not like any of them. It's not like any of them had control of the drone or control of the video, or even could even get usable information about the drone or the data from the video. But
they could just steal the drone.
It was just flooding the drone flooding the controller with requests, and all of the bandwidth from the Wi-Fi was going to all these 80 other phones, trying to information on connecting to the internet. It's just a huge design flaw.
If they use the same architecture.
It's basically Wi-Fi.
The newer models.
It's just plain Wi-Fi, and without them recognizing it as a severe issue, they're not going to address it. And having a registered user like Sean bitch and complain is like, hey, I was trying to do this, but couldn't because you jackasses left this avenue open.
Yeah, it was a once in a lifetime shot that we are not going to have a chance to do again. And I missed it because their programming error.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if they use the same architecture for the the newest models, and slightly and all the models in between, it would be easier to get everybody together or a group of people together and fight this.
Well, here's the thing. Walkira historically has been a professional level drone company. They make drones not for hobbyists like me, because the Walkira Voyager series, the entire Voyager series, was built around police departments. It was used for high altitude surveillance, so there wouldn't be multiple people trying to log into the controller at one time, because that's going to be a cop using it. The entire Voyager series is based on that concept. The Voyager 4 and Voyager 5 actually have a $12,000 suitcase that is a tether system, so the drone can stay up with power wired indefinitely.
Ooh, damn.
Which is something law enforcement would like to have.
Yeah, and they sell them. They're $12,000 a piece. They put them in the trunk. They can actually put a drone up for hours because it's got external power. It's got a long-ass freaking copper wire that goes up to the drone. So they're not looking at... They up until they started to sell them to the general public, which was the Voyager 4, and even then it was too expensive to buy until they released the Voyager 5. But now the Voyager 5 is out, the Voyager 4 is a little bit more cost effective. Instead of being $14,000, it's now $3,100. Now they're going to start getting the complaints about multiple people gathering around with cell phones. I just happened to hit an extreme case of it because there was a lot of interest in seeing what's happening with the rocket after they could no longer see it. And if I would have known about this beforehand, I would have been maybe 200 feet from Astronomy Live, because everybody would have went to the telescope before they came to the drone.
Yeah, because what's the point?
I wonder how this would have gone down with a. Yeah. I wonder how this would have gone down with a 4G module instead of 2.4 or 5.8 gig module. But
I don't know, but
it's
but yeah, the Voyager 4 uses a. Go ahead.
It's even then, whether you're using the 2.4 or going into the 4G, 5G connection band, it's still the fact that it's an open architecture connection type.
Yeah, but if you're using
it requires
LTE,
no authentication.
It's locked and encoded. It's locked and encoded. Not if you use 2.4 and 5.8, but with 4G, you should be able to use it. I mean, do an encrypted and locked connection.
You can, but that's the problem with plain Wi-Fi. You can do a locked connection like that. The problem is that Walkira didn't, and that's what fucked up the controls for Sean.
But here's the pissy thing about it: there's no option to lock it.
Yeah, and that's stupidity, because that is simply 2 or 3 lines of code that every other wireless access point has.
Yeah,
I wonder if somebody has made some.
unless you can actually have access to rewrite the firmware on the controller,
Exactly.
there
what I'm
is
thinking, yeah.
there is no locking the controller from having, you know, an unsecured connection.
And that's what I'm thinking. I wonder if I'm sure that other people have had this exact same problem. I wonder. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody has managed to maybe not break
Well,
it, but at least, you know, write its own.
See,
write their
that's the
own
thing.
software for it.
That's the thing about how I was talking about this drone used to be pretty much out of consumer price range until, you know, a year and a half ago. Not many people that have bought this drone go to crowded areas. This was probably one of the few times with somebody who was actually in a huge crowd situation that didn't start out as a huge crowd, but it eventually became one because of interest in the telescope, and I was standing right next to it. So again, the situation didn't crop up enough for people to make this a huge complaint. Now that we've actually seen the extreme end of the issue, I can actually forward this to Walker. It's like, you guys need to get your shit straight. And this is why.
Okay, now, I came in late, so I'm not, you know, I didn't hear the beginning of it. Do you suspect just, fuckery with low stability, or somebody trying to make a DDoS specifically?
No, it was not. It was not a specific attack. It's just everybody's cell phone was trying to connect to the controller as an internet device, and it's not. So it was just flooding the controller with ping requests.
Yeah, maybe I should contact my friend who's a ham in Denmark. He develops control hardware and video transmission hardware and software for this kind of stuff, and he has a company.
This was nothing intentional by anybody who was there. This was just a design flaw that Walkera probably wasn't aware of was this bad, because they've never seen a situation where there was a crowd.
Yeah. I mean, it would be great to use a band that isn't used by anything else. That's what I'm thinking.
Again,
and he has that ability.
Again, that rules out the whole aspect of it uses a Wi-Fi connection to your device. If it uses a specific band, your device has to have that specific band. It rules out Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
they should just go with wired connections. They should go they are the only company I know that uses They are the only company that I know of that actually uses a Wi-Fi required to your device connection. Everything else uses wired connections. Why do they go that route? It's stupid as hell.
Especially considering they're generally connected to each other.
Right.
Yeah, at least for, they're connected for power anyway.
No, you're not. No, you're not. There's no wired connection between the iPad and the controller. Nothing. It's all Wi-Fi.
Make a fucking power socket so you can... Oh, God damn it. But great design. That's, beautiful.
Why do you think I call it a design flaw?
Yeah. Well, again, I wasn't here from the beginning, but yeah. Damn it.
Yeah, this was nothing to do with the crowd of people that were there. I don't blame them in the slightest. They had a general interest, and I encouraged the interest that they had. It's just I wasn't fully thinking about what this unsecured Wi-Fi connection was going to do when I had a bajillion phones coming to see it. Because when you turn the drone on, or you turn the controller on, you turn the drone on, once they have a signal back to each other from the controller to the drone, it activates the Wi-Fi circuitry in the controller, and that allows your device or any other device to connect to it. Then after you get that connection established, then you start up the Walkera drone app. It's the Wi-Fi connection is not required that the Walkera app is running, which is what the problem is. There should be some kind of authentication in the app saying, okay, this is the app, this is the authentication code, you have access to the controller. They don't even go that far.
Absolutely.
They're putting the Wi-Fi connection as a priority before the app, and that's what caused the problem.
Yeah, so, and here's something really funny, and actually kind of sad thinking about it. The smart TV I'm using as one of my computer monitors, I have an app on my phone that can connect to it, that I can then use my phone as the remote. I still have to log in and actually activate the connection with the TV. The fucking connection from my cell phone to my smart TV is more secure than this Walkera connection. What the fuck?
Yeah, bravo. But But what happened afterwards? I mean, did you regain connection, or did it auto land, or what happened?
Oh, the drone stayed up there happily doing what it was doing, and every now and then I'd be able to get functional control of it, but I couldn't see what the drone was doing because I had no
Video
connection
link.
between. I had no video link to the drone because everything was being sucked up by all the other phones. But every now and then I would actually have enough control from the controller to the drone to actually turn it, but I couldn't see which way it was turning.
So you still had full control of the drone. You just had no idea what you were doing.
I had partial control of the drone because it was very, very laggy because of all of the bandwidth being sucked up by all these phones.
What is the connection between the controller and the drone?
That's supposed to be direct, but the controller was waiting for information from all these connections that were giving it bogus data. So it was waiting for any kind of thing verifying that it was the Walkera app being used, and it wasn't. So it was just bogus data that the controller had no idea what to do with, and it just bogged everything down. So I pushed a stick, I'd look up at the drone. A few seconds after I pushed the stick, I would see it turn, but it was way delayed. Normally there's like a half a second delay between moving a stick and the drone actually functioning. This was like 2 to 3 seconds. It was insane. As far as anything on my device that showed me any kind of visual indication of what the drone was doing, I had nothing.
Well,
the screen was literally frozen.
It's a good thing you didn't need obstacle avoidance at that point then.
Well, that's all done within the drone, and sadly, the Walkera has 0 avoidance.
Yeah.
The Mavics, they got obstacle avoidance built into the drone everywhere, but the Walkera has none. So you really have to keep an eye on what it's doing. But as soon as the rocket landed, everybody started to leave, and within a couple seconds, I had full control of the drone again. It was literally while the crowd was there, I had nothing. So yes, design flaw screwed it over. And I was beating myself up all last night. It's like I didn't get anything. It just sucks. I'm toast here. And when I had a chance to calm down, take a little nap on the ride back, I mean, within seconds of me waking up, like, oh shit, now I know what the hell happened.
Yeah, once you had that clear enough head to analyze it, it's like, wait a minute.
Like, wait a minute, I have an unsecured open connection, and I was surrounded by everyone on their cell phones. So yeah, I'm boiling it down to a design flaw, and I just wasn't ready for it. If I would have thought about it beforehand, like I said, I would have went about 200 feet away from Astronomy Live because everybody would have went to him because he had the big ass telescope.
Which was then conveniently blocked by the curve to see the landing.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, he was able to see the top, the very, very top of the rocket. He was still able to see, and I'm talking the very top. He was able to see like just below the grin-fids and up.
Okay.
Jeez.
I can't remember. It was the Voyager 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any specific version or just standard Voyager 4? Nothing more.
There's only one version of it. There's 2 different cameras you can get for it, but it has the default 18 times zoom camera.
Okay. I'll when I get my chance, I'll talk to my guy, see if he has some ideas.
Yeah, I don't blame anybody at the launch. I don't blame anybody at the launch that it screwed everything up because again, I didn't even think about it, and I really should have. Because I mean, even myself, I'll take advantage of unsecured wireless or Wi-Fi networks all the time as I'm driving.
Oh yeah, while driving is it was a good a great hobby of mine at one point. So can't fault you for that.
But I should have realized that with an open unsecured network, I was going to have issues with other devices trying to log into it, and I didn't think about it. Because the next closest Wi-Fi that was unsecured was actually the pier itself, and it was toggling between 1 and 2 bars of signal. But everybody who was around me and Astronomy Live were probably getting 3 and 4 bars from my controller.
Which is why,
So they were all trying to log into the strongest signal, which was my controller. So yeah, that was boneheaded move on my part because I didn't realize the design flaw until after I had a nap.
Well, and even then, were you aware of this flaw prior to? Or was
Well, I
it
knew-
running into this issue that...
I've never had a crowd before. I knew that it was an open, unsecured connection, but I didn't think that if people's phones would try to, or I thought people's phones might try to log into it, realize they didn't have internet, and they would just stop trying. They kept trying.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of devices have a high timeout rate for...
Yeah, 30 seconds usually. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not duration, it's number of attempts before they give up.
And, you know, when it comes to TCP/IP, it's not a, wait a second, I'm getting too much information. It's you're going to wait until I filter out and sift through all this, and then I'll send it back in the best order I think I can send it back in.
Yep.
So with that many phones, with one real Wi-Fi antenna going on, that's battery operated. Yeah, I was screwed, and I never knew it until it was too late. I mean, even on my
But hey,
stream,
you learned something.
even on my live stream, I was like, "What the hell's going on?" I'm getting like connection loss between the iPad and the controller because everything else is eating up all the Wi-Fi, even though it was using absolutely none of it. It was just bogus data, trying to figure out how to get access to the internet when there was none.
Yeah, that's where having, for public consumption, that's where having the option for a secure connection to the controller really is crucial.
Because Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi and phones, they won't try to access a secure connection unless you tell them to.
Yeah.
If as soon as they see that the SSID says it's secured, they don't even make the attempt. So if it would have been a secure connection that required a password, even if the password was written on the controller, I don't care. But as long as it was a locked, secure connection that required a password to join it, none of this problem would have happened. Because the phones wouldn't have even tried to attempt. They would have tried to get onto the unsecured network that was next to us at the pier.
Yeah, a handful. And here's the thing, thinking about it, most of your Wi-Fi connection scripts automatically have the secure options built in, so they quite literally have to just remove a few lines of code that disable it. And then, hey, we're good.
Well, that's what I don't know for sure is if Walkura wrote their own code or just used generic code and then remove the lines. I'm thinking they wrote their own code.
Well, as someone who's dealt with code, oftentimes when it comes to an established communication archetype, you're using a base code and then editing it yourself to fit your application.
So you think they took the code out to save space on their ROM?
Yeah. Or they did something that's like, oh, this won't be an issue. Because, again, like you said, it was law enforcement was the targeted demographic initially. And when they're going to be using it, they're going to be in a cordoned off area. So why consider connectivity issues?
Well, one thing I'm going to test when I get home, when I can actually have access to other devices, I'm actually going to install the Walkura app on several devices and connect to the Wi-Fi for the Walkura controller with all those devices and see which one takes priority when the Walkura software is actually used at the same time on different devices. Mm-hmm. I want to see how bad it screws things up.
I think it's going to end up trying to bounce between all of them.
I think so too.
Eesh. God damn, that sucks.
If you're lucky, you can find
but again,
the necessary FCC
But again,
IDs.
with zero authentication. But again, with zero authentication, it wouldn't be hard for somebody to say, "Oh, he's flying a Walkura drone. Let me download the app and just steal it."
Yeah.
And Sean, if you're lucky, you can find some FCC IDs on the main board itself, and find out. Sometimes you get lucky with the FCC, and they have some some great information on file for everybody to see. What protocols they use to test the equipment, et cetera, et cetera. You won't get the proprietary information, of course, but you will perhaps you'll be lucky enough to see which what kind of protocol they use.
I'm not sure. I just know that it's a really bad design. That's all I can say for 100% certainty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, even the DJI is you can switch from between a remote controller and Wi-Fi controllers. You can just use it with the phone without using the actual remote, and even that's secure passworded.
Yeah, I mean,
and that was an afterthought.
Yeah, but again, that shows that they weren't thinking about it initially and didn't think, hey, this is going to be financially publicly available now instead of being big business only, so maybe we want to think about security. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was pure oversight. It was purely a missed detail that can easily fuck up someone's day.
Which it has.
It's fucked up a lifetime, because this is a shot we're probably never going to be able to get again.
Yeah.
You know, when's the next time a Dragon Capital is going to explode on LZ1? You know.
Well, yeah.
That was the whole reason why they went offshore.
And that close to shore too.
Right. So yeah, not a happy camper, because I came down here and missed out because of a dumbass design flaw. And I was too busy trying to figure out the drone to actually watch anything for the launch, other than I was able to get 2 seconds of naked eye looking at the SpaceX rainbow. Which, by the way, is incredibly cool.
Yeah.
But I missed every other aspect while I was trying to figure out what the hell the drone was going on with the drone. Because when I went up, the first thing I did was I looked for the drone ship. I thought I had it, so I just left the drone alone, watched a couple seconds of the rainbow. Once that went out, I went back to the drone, and that's when everybody came over, and within a few seconds, I lost all signal on the video.
Yeah.
I was fucked. When I was tired, things were racing through my mind. I was like, did Elon Musk throw up a signal jammer or something? And just conspiracy theories abounded running through my head, because I never thought about, oh shit, open network, duh. I had to have that little rest to realize what it actually was.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of RC control stuff using 2.4 gigs, it is a great idea, because it makes it possible to have so many, a fuck ton of helicopters, aircraft, whatever, at a club meeting, and you don't have to worry about what frequency you use. But it also has its downsides.
Yeah.
This is one of them. The other one is that, in an urban area, the area is baked in 2.4 gig signals, not just from Wi-Fi, but also from Bluetooth, other wireless devices.
Well, Bluetooth's not so bad, because it's got a very short range.
It has a low. Yeah.
I just had a thought on a way to solve the connection issue on something they could do without having to put in a password requirement.
A wired connection?
Well, aside from that, again, this could be a software update that would change nothing on the user interface, but still give you that security. And that would be to to turn on a MAC filter and limit the connection number to 1. So once you have an active connection, that is the MAC address that it's going to communicate to, until that connection is lost, and then it starts the process over. So unless your phone dies, you shouldn't.
Or at the very least. Yeah, or at the very least, you can lock it to one device, or two, one as a backup. Well,
I know what they were thinking when they did the open connection. If I really get down to the nitty gritty, I know what they were thinking, because you do have the option to freely control the gimbal in all 3 axes if you want to. Mm-hmm. So what they're probably thinking is one person piloting, a second device controlling the camera. That's what I'm thinking, because even DJI does that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take a Mavic Pro or a Mavic Pro 2 and actually bind a slave controller to it, and the master controller is the one that controls the drone itself, and the slave controller actually controls the gimbal.
Yeah, the camera.
And that's all it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
but the
thinking
thing
that's what they
is,
were thinking
if you
to
take
do with this.
Yeah, but if you take a standard, low budget racing drone, well, it's not a drone at that point, but an RC racing quad. Once you've paired the transmitter with the receiver, they're both transceivers, but fuck it. You can turn them off, pull the batteries out, put them back together, and they will still be locked together.
Yeah,
You
because
you have to physically unpair them in order to use a different controller.
yeah, the pairing is trapped in the NV RAM, the non-volatile.
Yeah.
Gotta love EPROMs for
Yeah,
that.
so it
sometimes.
is literally an easy fix.
I would have preferred that Walkeri even went with a Bluetooth option. That way, the range wouldn't be an issue unless you had 80 people like standing shoulder to shoulder with you. It wouldn't be an issue. But no, they had to use Wi-Fi unsecured, and that's got a 1,500-foot range.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, if they had a big old battery in the controller, you could use it as a power supply for the phone you're using, and just use a cable. I mean, that would be the most obvious and easy thing. And if you want the extra feature of using it Wi-Fi, using a wireless controller for the camera, you can buy an option for it, but keep the cable version standard. That's just me from a ham radio basis. I mean, it's just keep the radio chatter down as much as you can.
Right. The battery in the controller is actually quite. Can I go yet?
Yep.
Okay. The battery in the controller is actually pretty beefy, because you can actually leave that controller on for like 4 hours before you have to charge it again. The battery in the drone is beefy as hell, but the power draw is so high that you only get like 15 minutes out of it.
Oh yeah, I wonder why. Yeah,
because it's like an 8-pound drone.
Mm-hmm.
And then the motors, the camera, the gimbal, it
all
all adds up.
Adjustments because of changes in wind. Yeah. Especially if you tell the drone to pin itself in the space you have it in at the moment, it'll move high. It'll move mountains trying to keep that position. That can draw a lot of power, especially if it's changing winds and wind directions.
Yeah, the drone has four flight types. That's attitude mode, which is where you can actually roll the drone if you're not paying attention. It's got GPS mode. It's got fixed flight mode, and then it doesn't even have follow me. And it's got circle mode, which means it'll
orbit. Yeah. Okay.
Once you actually, because it's actually a selection switch physically on the controller. It's not a selection in the app. It's actually a 4-level switch. But if you put it in circle, it'll say, okay, this is my fixed point, and whatever distance you go from that fixed point, it will circle around that one point at that radius. But that's the extent of its capabilities. It's a very, very simplistic drone, but I didn't realize that the Wi-Fi was so crap. So my advice to anyone thinking about buying a Walkera product, unless they fix this bug, avoid them like the plague.
Yeah.
But with that, I'm going to go watch Daz's live stream of him owning somebody.
All right. Have fun, Sean.
Later.
And I'll try to actually eat my breakfast before it gets cold.
Wait, breakfast?
Yeah. It's almost 1:30 in the morning. Well, 2:30. It's almost 2:30. And yes, that is the same as 2:30 because British people. Go figure.
It's 9:30 for me. I should probably eat.
I was expecting more Furball there to be the one eating breakfast. Like me, 2:30 in the morning, that would be either a late dinner or just a little snack, because why not?
Or nudge the wife to see if she's interested.
That generally happens before I go get something to eat.
Gotta work up the appetite.
One or the other. But god damn, that sucks. And it really is such a simple fucking fix.
Yeah. Just hardwire the damn connection.
And that, or because, so like, who was it? Scraver X made a good point. The requirement for 2 people to be controlling it is a requirement down in Australia, where you have one person piloting it and the second person operating the additional functions of the drone. So a wired connection might not work in that case. But, like I said, simply have it be a secure connection, or do it as a non-broadcast SSID. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not broadcasting the SSID would be the easiest.
Yeah. Since his Valkyria is a discontinued product, now I don't know when they decide to discontinue it, but they could at least maybe not make it open source, but make it possible for people to publicize a firmware update that allows you to put your own OS into there, into that thing. Just like you can do with a whole lot of Wi-Fi routers. You can install a tomato on it and get a lot of lot better features and more safe security in there. Just make it possible for people to tinker.
Manufacturers on the higher end stuff tend to not like that, because you'll have people who think they know what they're doing will brick the product and then try to blame the manufacturer for the problem.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, it would be easy to, there is no such thing as tamper proofing, but there is something you can make it tamper evidence. An extra EEPROM in there to save operating software system information, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
but the public's eye can't. You can't help.
Well, from the business standpoint, I can see why they wouldn't go open source on a product like that for the control aspect and minutia like that. Because again, you'll get someone who bricks the device, will rant and rave on social media that the problem was from the manufacturer's end. And that's part of your PR. That's part of what keeps your business healthy and keeps the customer base coming back for more.
Oh yeah.
And they may also just not want their code to be open source because they're going to be using it in future products.
Or law enforcement.
One of the reasons why this is one of the reasons why I asked Sean if you knew if. No, I didn't ask him, but God damn it. Yeah, my mind is broken right now. If you could, if the software on the drone, on the controller, etc., is the same architecture as the newest series and models and the models in between, because if they are, you can be certain that they will not, open it up. But if it's software architecture that they don't use anymore and don't intend to use anymore, I couldn't see why they wouldn't make it possible, at least for some people, to do it.
Well, and part of it is
and make it public that those series, for example, from a certain date, the Valkyria, I don't know if it exists, but the Valkyria 2 and the Valkyria 3, that one exists, and the Valkyria 4, they are now considered obsolete, and we have opened up the software, yada, 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 and if you go fuck it up, it's your own fault, but here you go.
Well, the problem I see with that is the product line started out as a law enforcement tool primarily, so you're going to want to keep programming and control access limited for that reason initially. And also here in the US, when an update to a product comes out to where they actually change the model designation and do a wholesale update, it can take up to 5 years minimum for law enforcement agencies to upgrade their material to the new platform. So you're going to have a lot of older platforms still in use, which from that aspect alone, just from that small customer base alone, is going to put a big stop sign to going open source with any of the control programming.
Oh, now I know this is far from comparable, but I'm going to do it anyway because every now and then you get to boast about crap. Iridium satellites, for telecommunications using satellites, we practically I don't know the percentage, but we practically don't use them anymore. Most of it is overseas cable, or submarine cables. There's a lot of satellites that have been donated to ham radio operators. It's before they die, but their design life has been exceeded, and they don't want to, what do you call it? Do the upkeep. Do the upkeep on it, but it still has fuel, so it can maintain its orbit. It just don't have any use for it. It's a lot cheaper to just let it go. They donate it to AMSAT, which amateur radio satellite. So they get full access, not just partial. They get full and total access to the software on the satellite, the software to control the thing, and all the codes, everything.
Well, yeah, and
so it is possible.
Oh, well, I know.
And even I could get the software to control it if I wanted to.
But again,
the code, of course.
But again, you're running into an entirely decommissioned platform that there is going to be a security block between that decommissioned platform and the active use platforms that have replaced it, to where you cannot use you cannot use the old one to break in access to the other. That's why I don't see Walkera going open source on the older products, because they probably are just using minor tweaks and minor derivations of the same software, the same firmware in successive platforms, and with some of those platforms still being in use by law enforcement, it does not make security sense for them to open that can of worms when they can't even get this simple thing right.
Yeah. Now I don't see this happening because the customer base is way too low, but I would love to see some some really cool nerds to reverse engineer that sucker and install Arduino boards in there. An Arduino board, they don't weigh anything really. They're really low weight, and just use Arducopter software to control it instead. You wouldn't even have to. You would only have to solder in some thin copper wires to debug it. To find out how the damn thing works. If it's an ARM processor, it would be relatively easy. It will take time, but it will be relatively easy to find out how the software on it works, even if it's locked. Unless they used one of those pesky encrypted microprocessors, but I doubt they do.
You never know. Again, without having access to that much of the technical details of it, it's speculation, and really on something like that, it's 50-50, because a lot of times you're going to be looking at cost analysis of the hardware versus the end product, and if the original product ended up being listed at 14,000 and now it's down to just over 3, chances are it's not the secure type.
Yeah. Probably. Well, the worst part is if the important chips in there was geez, was BGA chips, not sub. Ball gate array chips are a nightmare to get off. And I've tried it. It's not fun. That's getting too geeky for this stream, I think.
Oh, come on.
Well, hey, okay. Have you tried desoldering a BGA chip and resoldering, for that matter? Well, putting a new one in. Do you even have the equipment for it?
I don't at the moment, but when I did, you had to be really careful because you can cook a chip with ease when you're trying to remove and replace it, which is why on a lot of the boards that I had to deal with back then, anytime we had to swap out a chip, we wouldn't even consider just doing a straight chip for chip replacement. What we would actually end up doing is requiring that if the chip to be replaced was not already in a replaceable socket, you get the socket along with the chip, and then we will install both.
Yeah. And even, I mean, the thing is, if it is a ball gate array or a BGA chip, I mean, just getting the thing ready to desolder that thing. Disregard the lead-free crap of solders, which is, well, completely retarded. But you would have to know the specific, preheating profile of the board, or the most, you have to find out. Okay, if you can't get access to that profile, the temperature profile, you'd have to identify the components on the board and the board itself to find out which of these are the most sensitive, and try and figure out how to set your oven.
And what about?
It would be a living nightmare.
What about when you get a spool of solder and it's mismarked and you end up getting the flux core instead of solid core? That's always a fun one too.
Well, I only use fluxed solder.
Really? See, I prefer the two part because I was taught, again, military training 2M, we on the mil spec, we always used the solid core solder because part of our process for prepping the board was to clean it and then apply the flux ourselves to make sure that it was not over or under. Because if it was under flux, you're not going to get good connection. Same thing with overdoing it, you can end up getting a poor connection as well. There's that really narrow band that you cannot guarantee with using a flux core solder because it's not a consistent density of the flux through the wire. So
yeah, well, the nightmares of cleaning a board more than once. I've never had that experience, but hey, I strictly have the leaded solder because there can be only one, in my opinion. I have tried it. I have given it a fair chance. It is possible to use the lead free. Just don't use the tip you use for leaded. And you have to use a higher temperature. That's not a good thing if you're using FR4 PCBs with only a very thin copper
your
layer and LEDs. Yeah, it's just fuck hell.
Well, yeah, no, because you'll cook the board and the device you're trying to connect to it in that instance.
Yeah, so I have given it a chance, but I do not. I have a roll of it because I had back when I worked with it. I had to have it because of ridiculous, the Rojas crap. We had to use it in some cases, and we officially would use it every single time. But oh well. But it's no. But no, I have the leaded, and it is there is flux core in there. I think it was 6 or 7. I can't remember. I think it's a 2% mix. but I still have both the flux pen and one of those small jars, I guess you could call them, with this thick flux paste to use. I never really used that stuff, but the pen that was used often. I don't think I've had any problems ever. Even with the lead-free boards, and I was, well, as long as you get rid of as much of the lead-free shit you can.
Yeah.
Before, but yeah. Yeah. If anyone hasn't, if everybody hasn't gotten the hint yet, I really hate the lead-free crap. For the environment as a total, the ROHS or ROHS, it's a good thing, for the environment. But when you work in a electronic shop, it is not more healthy to use lead-free solder if you happen to be unlucky enough to inhale that crap.
Yeah.
It's a lot better to inhale the leaded solder. Go figure.
And even then, I'd rather actually have a properly operating fume hood. Or, like I did with the bike, do it outside in open air so you don't have to worry about it. And Jay, I saw what you did there, and you did it wrong. It's may the force be mass times acceleration.
Geeks. But it's the fifth.
No,
You can't do it anymore.
I didn't want it to be so obvious.
And you guys talking about lead poisoning? If you really want to do lead poisoning efficiently, I found a way last week, and that's directly into your hand.
Yeah, you use a high quality hole, wood drill, and yeah, that's not a good idea. No. But hey, at least you did use the force a bit, and not a Chinesium HSS drill.
And out of sheer
spite.
Yeah, that would work. I was planning on, after the stream tonight, playing a little bit of Star Trek Online. Metachlorian per blood cell. That still sucks, though, what happened with Sean and everything.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, motherfucker.
But at least he got his, well, I hope so, but at least he got his bird down.
Well, he definitely got the drone back. That wasn't the issue, because once everyone walked away, he had full control again. The issue was they couldn't get the shot.
No, but also, at least for some time afterwards here, he will be, I imagine, would be a lot more timid launching that thing, even in under normal conditions. He would have that crap in the back of his head, and just look around himself every time he's flying, as kind of paranoid.
Well, with only a couple people,
just and ask if people turns it off their Wi-Fi.
Well, no, I can see with only a couple people being around him not being so worried about it, because again, it's not going to create the issue that he ran into if it's only a couple people trying, being near him with the devices, trying to do that. But they were pushing near 100 people that walked around him all at the same time, and that's where it quite literally became a DDoS attack.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, but effectively.
Yeah. See if I can find a guy. Oh, I almost made a Sean.
What did you do this time?
No, I just almost, I'm looking for my friend's webpage where he sells his stuff. And I almost made the universal Sean thing.
Yeah.
I put in the link for his website in the internal chat. This is for. I'm sure they can be adopted to a Volcera somehow. In essence, it will take over both control and video downlink, and it'll also have a lot better range and telemetry.
The jumper multi-protocol RC transmitter does Volcera protocol.
Okay, you've been
because I've been looking at reviews just lately.
Yeah.
Yay.
Right. I can't remember which model it was, but he had a guy test this one of his products, my friend there, and he had a ridiculous range. It was he couldn't officially, at least, test it in Denmark. I don't know where he tested it, but he got far beyond line of sight without using 4G LTE. It was point to point. I think it's on. In this case, he used his ham radio license, so it was most likely on 1300 meg.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people doing stuff on 914 meg. Is it around about there? That is sort of 12 or 13 miles, so 20 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For here in the U.S., for the ham radio, it's 50 megahertz. So roughly in that, it's in the 6 meter band for amateur radio remote control. That's what.
Well, there's a different.
And in that situation, if you're here in the States, you're trying to capture something from, NASA or something that you really need to get the shot, I would have everything pre-programmed to 6 meters.
Yeah, but then you'll have to worry about the the antennas. It's hard to use it to create. I mean, the best antenna you could use for this sort of situation, of course, it has to have a low SWR, but you should use a circular polarized antenna.
Yeah,
and try making that. Try making a 6 meter circular polarized antenna that isn't larger than the drone itself.
Yeah.
It has to be unless you somehow mount it and you can rotate it by using a servo or something, so you can lower it once you're in the air or something like that. I mean.
Yay. All the stuff.
But there's many different frequency bands that you could use for it as a ham.
Mm. Here in the States, we're limited to 6 meters.
Yeah, it's strange how they've determined the differences for those requirements in different regions.
I know here in the UK we've got 415 meg and say 940, 35 megahertz, and I think somewhere about 45 or 50.
Well, for us, there are no rules telling us that we can't use a certain area of the amateur band, as long as we don't interrupt other people's communications, of course. But we can literally use any frequency we want to.
Either my pun was bad or it went over William Sign's head.
Which pun was that? Oh. It's not wrong because
well, anything is parsecs above or beyond galaxies, but I remember playing Galaxies.
Whoops. Wrong tab.
So the little bit of gameplay I've done over the last couple of weeks is actually I have Geostreber to thank for it, because he managed to patch and install Star Trek Elite Force on his computer, and then was able to condense it into a transferable file, so all you really have to do is extract it and run the setup and you're good. So we might have a little bit of that playing in the background on the next Kanar with Damar, because why not?
Definitely agree. Why not?
Actually, remind me later to post a link to it so you two can download it if you are so inclined.
I can't even remember the last time I even thought of playing that game.
Hey, Jared.
Yeah.
Are we going to be breaking up early tonight? Because we really want to go see Fight the Flat Earth and Father Skeptic go kick some butt over on NonSeq.
Who are they going against?
I have not a clue, but I'm gonna go watch that dumpster fire. You better believe.
You know, it is tempting.
I mean, we could still continue the show here while observing. Well, we could do it even after. That would work. I mean, my nephew got rid of his kids for the weekend, so I have no kids interrupting me whatsoever, and I don't have to watch my language.
Yeah, the only problem is, actually, hang on, let me grab my phone and check this right now, because I'm supposed to have a baseball game tomorrow morning, but weather-wise, it may not happen, but knowing my luck, if I plan for it to not happen, it's going to.
Wait a second, where are you at?
Oh, I'm up in New England.
New England.
I saw rain all day tomorrow, but here's the problem. The fields we're at, it can be calling for rain, and then it can actively start raining, but the rain will avoid the fields.
Oh, so you're in that geographic. Those fields are at that geographic hellhole. When it's not supposed to rain, it rains, and when it's supposed to rain, it completely avoids it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me check it real quick.
Yeah, well, bank holiday weekend here. So what do we get? Weather more suitable for February than May.
All right. It's supposed to be a 9:30 game, which means I have to leave the house at 8:30.
Or 7:30, so you can make a deliberate detour.
Oh no! See, that's the thing. Even the only stop I would have to do in the morning is to get gas, which it's on my way out, and it only takes me about 30 to 40 minutes to get there.
Yeah, so, but if it's it can be cold, but if it's dry and the sun is out, a deliberate detour just to make a trip out of it. I mean, I don't know how far is it? 12, 15 miles maybe?
No, the drive distance is about 45 miles.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it's mostly highway.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's mostly highway.
Forget I said anything.
with a speed limit of 65. Like I said.
Okay.
Yeah, 65.
Right.
Notice I said speed limit, not the speed that I actually drive.
Well, yeah, but you're young and dumb. Jared, from here, if any of these Chatham to Jamestown over in New York, if you're south of that line, from Chatham, Massachusetts to Jamestown, New York, if you're south of that line, yeah, you need to go to Plan B, which means we can be up late. If you're north of that line, you're a bit iffy. If you're Portland to Burlington, you're good to go.
So I'm in technically I'm on the northern end of central Rhode Island. The field that I'm playing at is out towards Brockton, Mass. It's actually closer to Raynham, for reference. So if you look at going from Rhode Island straight out towards the Cape, it's about in the middle of that landmass. So that's where
you're right on that barrier line.
Exactly. It can go either way. And with where these fields are, there's been a number of times where it is called 100% it's going to be raining, and it will be raining. We get to the field is playable, and it's not raining at the actual field. But you go down the road 5 minutes to the Walmart, and it's downpouring like a motherfucker.
Okay, well, let me tell you what I'm seeing on the radar currently. You're going to get a line in probably about 2 o'clock, maybe 3 o'clock this morning. And I'm just looking currently at necn.com weather. There's a massive amount of rain all through from, say, south of Richmond, southwest of Richmond, going all the way down to Fayetteville, North Carolina. And I'm stopping there because I'm going to go back up. All the way up to Philly.
Vietnam.
Oh, Vietnam, huh? All the way up almost into Philly, up by Allentown. There's a pretty good amount of rain. And then there's a little line that's going to go through, looks like western Massachusetts down into Connecticut. That'll bypass you in a couple hours, or at least in an hour or two.
Fribble, aren't you contractually obligated to call it NAM?
Well, yeah, if it was NAM, it would be NAM. But for Fayetteville, it's Vietnam.
Fayetteville? That sounds like a town in the U.S.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It's Vietnam.
Damn it.
It's
I was
Vietnam.
thinking about Vietnam, but okay.
Yeah, we're talking about Fayetteville, North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The armpit of North Carolina.
I tell you what, guys. I walked out to a first today. Down here in Texas, I went to go see my aunt, my great aunt. Okay. I walk out of her house, and her next door neighbors are out with a fully loaded Glock 17, 17, with the extended mag, shooting a rap video. And in a break, I just happen to say, hey, is that gun unloaded? And the guy, drops the mag, and it's full of brass.
Nice.
And I'm like, okay, please tell me there's not one in the chamber. And he goes, no, there's not one in the chamber. I say, pull it back. He pops it back, and brass flies out.
Bing!
Whoopsie.
That's why we can't have nice things.
And I'm like, guys,
well,
okay,
it's Texas.
look, I know it's Texas, and I know it's legal to publicly display on private property. But do me a favor. Go buy some fracking blanks for that, not freaking,
Now, this is why I am a supporter of one addition to the gun ownership laws nationwide. An IQ test.
Oh.
So you want Orphan Red to have
in addition to a firearms safety.
No, if I now say that I support an IQ test for gun ownership, I'm now going to be labeled a racist by these two individuals.
You know what? If the shoe fucking fits,
lace that bitch up and wear it.
Yeah.
Just call it an IQ test, not based on the amount of open tabs. They probably won't get it, but you will.
Yeah.
The problem with this being on private property is that bullets don't understand the concept of private property.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you guys want to listen to the message in my building?
Ooh.
Gesundheit.
Hi.
That's Japanese.
No, it's Korean.
Yeah,
they're
what Jared said.
Oh.
Okay, let's see what he said.
What, you
According
don't
to
know?
Google Translate, I will inform you once more that 101 and 102 parking structure 2F parking lot floor is complete and is available on the second floor under. Thank you. Problem is that they've got the road blocked to get into the second.
I wonder what the reason for it being free is.
It's open for use, but you motherfuckers can't get to it.
Yeah, exactly.
But technically speaking,
gotta love that level of stupid sometimes.
Well, all you need is CH-47. That's it.
No, he needs that. He needs that A1. He needs that AC-130 gunship. That's what he needs.
Oh yeah, get a spook in there.
Overkill. That's a little overkill. I mean, I do have rooftop back there. The building does have nice rooftops, but I don't know if I need a CH-47 to go 5 minutes to work.
Nah.
Yeah, but what exactly do you mean by overkill? I don't understand.
He's trying to take out the people, not the entire city block.
There is no overkill.
Oh no! Wait
there is only open fire and reloading.
Okay.
No, there's no such thing as open kill. There's only a shortage of ammunition.
Yes. Okay, guys. Here we go. Unbitch made is at the top of the non-sequitur tonight. So, however, hashtag unbitch made became a thing, I've got to find this shit out.
Well, hopefully it's someone who definitely did get bitch made and apparently wants to remedy it. One would hope
and
so.
is finally manning up. You know what?
It won't be him.
No. Now, here's the question. Are they live yet?
Whoever's got the... it started. It's already started.
There we go. I just got a notification.
Whoever's got that sound wave format for their image.
Yeah. Avatar.
Yeah.
Oh. So that's why Geistview didn't join us. He's actually at an outdoor rodeo right now.
Who didn't join us?
Geistview. Our Army Penguin operator.
Oh, cool.
So,
and I'm still waiting on my former Navy, now Airman compatriot from the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower to come join us in this thing.
Yeah, well, we are here every week, so.
Well, yeah, but I gave him the Discord link and told him to come join us and say hi. You know, I mean, but he does have to work tonight, so he's sitting at the Air Force Base near Topeka, Kansas, running speed trap for you guys getting off work tonight. So yeah, you might want to take it easy.
So, wait a minute, Topeka. That's not Tinker, because Tinker's at OKC.
Yeah. I don't remember which. I just remember it's outside Topeka, Kansas. And the only reason why I remember that was where I was going to move to at one point in my life, and avoided that church like a living plague, and was glad I did.
I don't remember an air base near Topeka.
Yeah, I don't remember one off the top of my head either. Like, I know Tinker is outside of OKC towards Topeka, and that's a joint air base technically. But
yeah, I think it's the joint air base now.
Oh, Forbes. Okay, Forbes.
Yeah, Forbes.
Forbes. Yep, that's out there by Topeka.
I just had a small, eavesdropping on the stream. They don't have anyone on yet. The you guys remember the old real time? What is it called? The old media player, real time player or something? not
Yeah.
QuickTime, but the old.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking
Yeah,
about. Real time.
The visualization crap. I think they just put it on to make to get some action going there. They don't have anyone in yet.
So
they were talking about why you're an idiot and other stuff.
And probably
they're just waiting.
Yeah, and probably Right the Hand was part of that topic too, because those two are so fucking bitch made. It's actually quite hilarious.
Have we heard from?
Honestly, I think Right the Masturbating Hand schedules his masturbation sessions directly on Saturday night for the reason of avoiding the Non-Sequitur show.
Speaking of which, is he in the chat somewhere? No.
Now, why would anyone? Hang on, let me think about that one for a moment.
Nice one, Techatron.
Oh, did anybody see Steve McRae's Facebook post on the argument?
Facebook? What's that?
Yeah,
that's something dangerous. I mean,
no, really, it is.
I stay away from that stuff.
Where he listed off the 4 ways of dealing with flurfers. There was the scientific, the intellectual, and the last one was the Red's rhetoric.
Yeah.
You're fucking wrong, you fucking moron, and let me tell you why.
See, and I've noticed I will go between a few of them. It all depends on how much dumbassery am I dealing with in that moment. If you are genuinely stupid and are an innocent, tolerable type of stupid, you will get one of the academic versions. If you are belligerently stupid and refusing to listen, that's when the profanity comes out.
Well, like I said, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. At least I can stand up and say, you know what? I don't understand the math. I don't know how to do the math. But you know what? I understand that there are people that are actually smarter than me in this world, and I will listen to them and watch them do the math.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm evaluating my Cavendish wire test from 4 days ago. All I'm doing is watching it go, timing it, measuring how far it moves, and then I'm giving that to AB Science because I have no fucking clue what to do with that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, speaking of no fucking clue, have we heard from Flat Out Zero? I don't think that I haven't looked at his channel, but I haven't heard anything from him for a long while.
Are any of them worth the effort, though?
You know, Bo, I'm a little disappointed in
this guy.
you.
What?
You didn't respond to my comment on Sai's general chat that you left yesterday, and I commented right after you.
Ooh, let's go take a look. Take a look.
I'm kind of blank right now.
Hold on, I'll share my entire screen just so you can...
You said it was in general chat?
Yeah.
You're just all for calling out people lately, aren't you, Jay?
All about it.
Yeah, like
hey,
yesterday, it's about time you finally subbed to me.
No, wait, look, I'm not going to try to look at this on my phone. I'm going to wait for it to pop up across the screen on YouTube.
Well, you know what, Jay? I have said so many times, and I'm not embarrassed to say it. It's not the size. It's the sound of it hitting the floor or the ceiling if she is good at it. So.
Oh, and
May
sorry.
the sword be with you.
Sai's comment right afterwards. I know it's probably about the launch, but still, it follows up with mine pretty good.
Yeah.
Wait a second. This ain't sharing on YouTube.
No, because I was reacting when Jay was sharing.
We'll share that. We'll share that shit show.
I'll share it again.
Would you like to read your comment, Bo?
Let's see if we can find. Oh yeah, I can't believe I'm about to say this since I'm more of a Trekkie. May the fourth be with you. I could have made it better if by waiting till 05:04 a.m. UTC, but my Schwartz isn't powerful enough. In
which I
reference to Mel
responded.
Brooks, of course.
And to respond to that, that's because your Schwartz is not as big as mine. Jared, you want to read Side Strikes?
Victory! May the Schwartz be with you.
Now you have to do that Jewish thing. With you. I don't know if it's. I think yeah.
She's
I think he did it that
Jewish?
way. Doesn't.
Funny, she doesn't look Jewish.
Such a great movie.
Oh yeah, and I am like I said in that thread there. I'm so sad by the fact that he didn't make a sequel to it. I'm not all that much of a Mel Brooks fan in general, but Spaceballs the movie, it's just the greatest. I don't know if I should call it a B movie, but it's the greatest lowbrow movie ever.
Wait a minute.
No, it's not. No. Mel Brooks has even one better than that. If you've never seen Blazing Saddles, then get off the stream.
Well, that again, I'm not all that much of a Mel Brooks fan, but I have seen. I hope you know who Fact Fiend is. A guy called Carl Smallwood. His YouTube channel is called Fact Fiend. He does some great stories on his channel. I saw his video about. I can't remember if it was specifically about Mel Brooks or the Riding Saddles thing. He talked, but amongst others,
Really?
yeah, he amongst other things, he was talking about how some, I think it was German channels, TV channels, when they aired it, they had edited out all the farts, making it almost impossible to laugh at.
Well, here's the thing. All I have to say to the whole thing about the conversation between Blazing Saddles and Spaceballs is nothing tops Spaceballs the Flamethrower.
Oh yeah,
The kids love it.
Oh no!
Whoever thought that Elon Musk was
just-
the first to get that idea, go fuck yourself. It was Mel Brooks.
It went from Mel Brooks to The Simpsons, then to Elon Musk. Because let's admit it, Elon Musk is just the actual living embodiment of Hank Scorpio. We are just waiting for him to get off his ass and try to take over the world.
How do you know he's not already doing that?
Move,
He's
Jesus.
just really good at hiding it.
Move. Big beast. No, I'm having to fight with a
If
big,
you
huge
remember-
Rottweiler.
If you remember, at the end of Spaceballs, there was the trailer for Jews in Space.
Yes.
History of the World
No.
Part 1.
History
No,
of the
that was
World.
History of the World Part 1.
Yep. And also, Hitler on ice.
Yeah, but see, even Mel Brooks admits he could never make another Blazing Saddles today. He couldn't
Oh
make
God,
Oh,
no.
oh no.
No,
You can make
SJW
half
and
this.
so-called feminists would be all over that one. Yeah, they would be crying their asses off.
He's a
Oh, yes. He's a bong!
The new sheriff. He's up.
Wait,
yeah. You could
a black sheriff?
Love-
He's black? Hey, it worked in Blazing Saddles.
Oh, my favorite part of Blazing Saddles was when the Indians were speaking Yiddish. That was
That was classic.
How did I miss this?
Oh, you know,
Depends on what you mean by this, but yeah.
Fino does have a point. So it can be argued that the Hitler on Ice reference was, oh, you didn't know about the animated series?
I did not.
oh yeah.
But yeah, the Hitler on Ice bit could arguably be seen as the inspiration for the producers.
Yes, but the producers came first.
It may have been released first, but the idea may have started with Mel Brooks.
Yeah, true.
Well, Brooks had a version of the producers before the one with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick. It was him and Gene.
Yeah, he had
Well-
he had it. Gene Wilder and
Gene Wilder.
Forgot the other guy.
Yeah. And wasn't the producers a Broadway show before that as well?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
You know, I do have to give that version of it with Matthew Broderick and Nathan Lane. They did damn good on the casting for that entire movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Nathan Lane is one of those actors that I actually enjoy watching. And I had no idea who he was until Timon.
Oh, wait a minute. Some people might get this one, but one of my guilty pleasure movies has to be Birdcage for one reason.
Oh God, Robin Williams
And Nathan Lane
give me
together.
Nathan Lane, yes.
no,
Well, see,
don't forget their co-star is also Gene Hackman.
True.
As
Yeah, but compare them to
I
Nathan
didn't-
Lane
well,
and Williams. No,
I didn't
No.
get to,
The
I
two
didn't
of
get to
them-
see Birdcage
nowhere
until
near
I
the
was in
same league.
college.
No, Gene Hackman plays the serious father of the bride.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Birdcage really was a hilarious movie, and just the casting of getting Robin Williams and Nathan Lane together in that movie was beautiful.
Well, think about this. Think about
Yes,
all the serious
especially-
roles, because Hackman was never known for a comedic role. He was not known for his comedy. He was known for, I mean, well, you know, he had that thing in Superman and all that, but that was not.
The Hoosiers.
You know, he had more of a serious, dramatic actor flair than he
Again,
did a comedic
Hoosiers.
flair. Yeah.
I hate to say that I'm going to say this, but also Crimson Tide.
Don't think I've seen that one yet. Is that on Netflix or Hulu? I can go watch it if it
Probably.
is.
Don't.
Yeah, probably.
Eh.
Why?
Don't.
No,
Is
if
it kind
you-
of like? No,
Me
wait
and
a
a-
second. Is
me
that
and a whole
kind of like? Who was the original? Who was the original Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies? That was
Richard Harris.
Richard Harris. Was that kind of like Richard Harris's one song that was like 10 minutes long? It's one of those things that if you heard it, you will want to commit suicide for hearing it, and if you never have, thank your lucky stars.
Oh no, that's Vogon poetry.
Oh no, Richard Harris had a song out that was like 10 minutes long, and it was like you would rather go get your balls scraped by shards of glass while getting a root canal without Novocaine for either region.
Well, let me tell you this. As a ballistic missile submarine guy, I want to gouge my eyes out every time I even think about mentioning Crimson Tide.
Oh,
I have to apologize to some audience members from when Crimson Tide was in the theaters.
Yeah,
Me and a
That's
whole,
wrong.
me and a whole bunch of
That's
buddies
wrong.
from the
That's
me and a
wrong.
whole bunch of buddies from the boat went out to there before we went on a deployment. It was very fun.
Did you turn it into a live action rendition of Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I've done that before in a movie too. But the movie I did it in actually deserved it because the movie was unwatchable otherwise.
Which movie was this?
The Others.
Imagine me before Mystery Science 3000 ever came out and having to go watch the He-Man movie with my little brother because my older brother, who was fortunately 18 at the time and could avoid such things, so I had to go sit through He-Man the movie while my older brother went and watched an R-rated kiddie flick. And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Good old Tom Paris before he was Tom Paris.
Yeah.
Right, Jared?
Hey, Jared.
Yeah, that is kind of strange. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else but Voyager.
Yes, you have. You
Just
have
like
seen. No. You have
have I?
seen him in TNG.
Yes.
Oh wait, yeah, okay, outside Star Trek then. Damn it.
Which, you know what, they could have easily kept the character in Voyager the same name as that cadet, and it would have worked.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was so much potential in for example, Harry's role. They lost a lot of good potential in him.
And shit, he was
Not
pretty
talking
much the only. He was pretty much the only one, other than Tuvok, to not get promoted.
Who?
Mm-hmm.
Kim.
Harry
Oh,
Kim.
yeah.
Even
Kim
though
was a perpetual ensign.
Yeah, even though the captain, I think I saw that episode yesterday. I'm going through every single episode of every single series again because I'm an idiot. Where they were crawling through some Jeffries tubes, and she said, "Well, hey, I have very high hopes for you." Yada yada yada. You know, everything in that thing, but he doesn't advance. It's ridiculous.
Well, so
Tom Paris got his commission back, got demoted, and got promoted back to lieutenant in the same time frame that Harry remained an ensign.
Yeah.
It's a slap in the face.
You know, I think it's cross-dimensional bias against Kim, you know, because he was not their original Kim, you know. That could be it.
Oh, I don't know about that. In terms of casting, I only know of the miscasting of the initial captain. You know,
he's talking about in the story. He's talking about in the storyline.
Yeah, in the storyline. Where was it?
Because the Kim that they had when they got back isn't the same Kim that they had when they left. Because he came from a different universe or a different parallel.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Was that?
That's right.
That's
true.
Was that the one where they went out of phase and one ship got entirely fucked up and the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly that one. Yeah.
Because Kim and what was that girl's name with the horns in her head? No, not Kess, but the ones with the horns in her head.
Horns in her head?
No, the child, Wildman.
Yeah, Wildman.
Oh yeah, and
Naomi
Wildman's child.
Those two characters are from the other phase, not the one that the Voyager we know of.
Saving a baby. Yeah, I haven't gotten to that episode yet. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was. Harry Kim carried the baby.
Yeah, because
from the fucked up Voyager.
Yep. Because Nancy Wildman actually died shortly after being born on the intact one.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I just figure out why Tom Paris got promoted. He has something on the captain, and I think he blackmailed her again later.
No, he had something in the captain.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
That's what I'm getting to. He wanted to blackmail her again by turning them both into what could only be described as giant newts. And then getting babies.
The amphibians, yes. They created a new species.
Bo, I think.
But that was after.
I think we just run Star Trek Voyager for Jared. Because he's after that something in the captain, he's never going to be able to watch it the same.
Oh no! I knew what you were referring to.
I just prefer to think of that episode as not existing.
Oh, you mean like Pheno is right now?
Right, it'll never happen.
I think I need a shower.
Maybe
you know what? I will say this though: Threshold did ring a little too close to the regressive mutagenic virus that hit the Enterprise D, where you have them all reverting to ancestral forms.
Neanderthal kind of.
Yeah. Well, you had Riker as a Neanderthal, you had Worf going into some beast-like thing, Troy becoming a fish.
Oh,
yeah,
Barclay became the spider guy. Yeah, he like turned into a spider thing. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and
You know,
Picard was
maybe,
slowly transforming into
a primate.
Yes, a lemur-like primate.
Lieutenant
hey,
Broccoli.
Jared, next guy.
The spider.
Next guy, you drink yourself. Next time you tank yourself with the Kanar, maybe you should try and compile a list of plots that were used in all the series. Just map it out. All the plots that were used in more than one series, and plot them out. Make a spreadsheet of it.
Wait, so
that would take a long time.
So actual plots, not just storyline tropes.
Well, all of that too, yeah. But keep them separate.
Well, no, the reason why I ask is because how many times
episodes separate?
Well, how many times does time travel come up?
Oh yeah, a lot of times.
Good God.
YouTube chat, but guys, I haven't seen it in the actual stream yet.
Oh God, hip hop hippie
behind, or hippity hop, hippity drippity drop. Huh.
Yep, hip hop hippie. I'm looking at it right now.
Hip hop hippity drippity droppity.
The dumbass. Yeah.
Let's see what the less than educated has to say.
That does.
Hey, I'm talking, aren't I?
Shit, hang on.
Okay, I'm gonna lose your audio for a moment because I yet again forgot to recharge my Bluetooth headset.
Hey,
I need to switch over here.
Jared, did you see Fino's response about Threshold with Bo?
Oh, I know that's why when Tech mentioned it, I was like, "Oh, you mean like?"
Oh, don't like Star Trek tropes? Then don't watch Discovery because the first two seasons are just.
I'm currently watching the first season right now.
Well, it's total tropes.
Oh, I know it is. What was the last thing that I posted in our Discord, in our little private group there, Jared?
Oh, I'll pull it up and read it because it was hilarious.
Shall I read it and you can read Gio's response to it?
Yeah, that'll be perfect.
So, as Jared knows, I bought the first season of Star Trek Discovery on disc. The only nice thing I can say, the writers are smarter than Liley, Ranty, and Oakley combined.
That doesn't really say anything.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Well, they say that Discovery takes place 10 years before the original series, but I think it takes place in a whole different universe.
So there is an interesting postulate with that I actually think makes it more tolerable. But this is where my issue has always been with CBS on this, not so much the series itself. I have a whole separate group of issues with the series itself. But follow me on this one. So you have the events of the movie First Contact, where the Enterprise E goes back, helps make sure that first contact happens. However, that ends up being the offshoot of a parallel alternate timeline, which is where Enterprise takes place, which is where Discovery takes place, which would explain the subtle differences in ship designs.
I can follow that. I can follow that.
I did see that. Although I have to say, one other good thing that I found, having watched the series, where I'm at so far in the series, Rainn Wilson makes a very great Mud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is one positive to that series, especially in season 1. Casting him as Mud, he stayed true to the character.
He added a little bit of an evil twist to it, I think.
Mud
always
was
Mud was
always
always evil. He was always evil, but it wasn't on the surface as much.
Yeah, Rain added like a little sinister vibe
Yeah.
to him. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's more or less. Yeah, a lot of that is just the kind of the thing because the original Star Trek was a bit campy, and
Yeah.
Discovery isn't, and that's really where a lot of the difference comes from.
Yeah, but again, thinking about it, treating Discovery as part of that slight offshoot timeline that was the also the genesis of the Enterprise series, it makes sense then that Mudd would have just that slightly more sinister tweak to his character. But aside from that, and having that darker light to it, it's still the character presentation of both from the original series and here in Discovery are tolerable, are acceptable, are close enough, but acceptable within the variations of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, he's still a fun character. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I don't get is how can you, even going with that alternate timeline scenario, how can you go from the Klingons looking the way they do, where Enterprise actually did its part to try to keep the original aesthetic of both the original series and Next Generation, and even the in Star Trek VI, and
they try to retcon it the proper way of retconning.
Yeah, they actually handled it quite well, because how would the Enterprise E going back change the visual presentation of a species that hadn't even been interacted with? Like, you cannot have that kind of butterfly effect in that. Oh, Clockwork dropped out. He'll be back in a few, though.
Of course, now
I would
Alex,
like to point out.
of course, through season 2, Alex Kurtzman has retconned the retcon, so now that the Klingons are looking more like how they would.
Yeah, they're closer, but it's still There were at least generational time changes and an actual mechanism for the extreme disfigurement of some of them that took place during Enterprise that would explain why some of them looked the way they did during the original series, and then by time you get around to Next Generation, they're looking normal again.
I would like to point out that this YouTube stream is referred to as the Veterans Talk Weekly, not the Nerdy Veterans Talk Weekly.
Sorry, it happens no matter what.
We can have
Hold on.
both.
Hey,
We can have
Jared,
both.
are you a veteran?
Yeah.
Jay, you a veteran?
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Because we're nerds too.
Ta-da! Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I forgot
Nothing
you
wrong
too.
with being a nerdy veteran.
But here's the thing: we don't have the cat here to show off the gun porn.
True. And we've got no
because he was
flat
too busy
earthers.
posting a video earlier.
Now look, Jared, you do have access to the pussy on pussy.
Hell, at minimum, at least 3/4 of the U.S. Navy submarine force are nerds.
Don't you mean
At least?
I would say it's more like 3.99 of the submarine fleet is nerds, and that's not even counting the nukes.
Thinking about it, I think about the only ones who wouldn't be the nerds on a boat like that would be the cooks.
No, you're wrong.
No, you're very wrong there.
Really?
Jared, even on the Eisenhower, we had Trekkies for cooks.
Oh, I don't doubt that there were some people of that nerdy slant in being the cooks, especially on the surface side of it. But
here's the thing: we've actually had the Silver Surfer discussion on our boat for Crimson Tide.
Okay, what the hell? Damn.
See, that doesn't surprise me.
What?
That was just between two of the cooks while we were between meals.
Oh wow.
Okay, guys, I'm kind of scared now. I'm looking at the live chat from the NonSeq Show. somebody posted that made sense. That kind of freaked me out. Knowing what they're talking about in what the hell.
Oh no, I was listening
don't
to
know
it about.
who put it. I mean, I don't know the guy who put it, but dang.
I was listening to it about 2 minutes in. That's why I was laughing, is because Father Skeptic was over there just lighting up Hip Hop Hippie like a bad dope joint, and smoking him hardcore.
Or like I say, I wrote in the internal chat. Team Skeptic is currently wiping Hip Hop Hippie's face with his own shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But hey, Team Skeptic is good at that when he gets sufficiently annoyed.
Wow.
Of course.
Yeah, I think that means that's Hip Hop Hippie. He needs a frustration area, and it's not the NonSeq Show.
But let's not put him into the better frustration area where you have people going, "I love you, long time."
Super cool.
$5.
Yeah.
You sucky long
Jared,
time.
If I send you a YouTube link, can you play it internal?
I put it into the internal chat, and Jay can. Jay set up.
Are we going to watch some
okay. Yeah,
some
this is the one that I
porn?
sent you yesterday, Jay. No, this is the epitome of soldiers in the army.
Oh, this should be good.
Yeah.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Object.
We're in the army now. No. Whoa, whoa, we're in the army now.
Let me get through the ad here really quick.
Okay.
And let me mute the NonSeq really quick. Oh, you're gonna make me sit through the whole ad? God damn it!
Oh, it's one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, he sounds really pokeable, or punchable.
Pokeable.
The hippie.
Some people just have a punchable voice.
Well, yeah, pokeable with a feces infested stick.
A punchy stick, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've seen this part.
Oh,
yeah, I think I've seen this
El
one.
Paso. Oh, okay, guys. Let's listen to this one.
Texas.
Let me know if it's too loud.
We can't hear anything.
Oh, hold on.
Stop in front of the line.
There you go.
Yeah.
What
Do you have a license?
Yeah,
this one? The temporary one?
Yeah, I lost my other one.
Wow. It's not the one I thought it was.
The car registered to you, man? Why'd you take the doors off?
This door went closed, so it would swing open. I drove around like that for a day, and then that door jammed. And he's always with me. So it was
all right. So commentary for commentary's sake here.
Wow.
I bet he lives in a trailer park.
Oh.
No, wait.
Wow.
Just watch.
The passenger? Huh.
The
video
is the passenger wearing?
He's wearing a helmet.
Like an Iron Man helmet.
Look at the title.
Yeah, look at the title, Jared.
Yeah. I mean, the video I saw, and I think it also was from A&E's live video, it was a drunk guy walking around in a car park, walking around like he was up to no good, and he was in a suit. Well-made suit, I think.
At least he has 7 8.
He explains everything.
Yeah, let's hear this.
We're just gonna take hang on, let's look up the Texas law first. When we look at the Texas law, and we're like, well, everything else works. Yeah, let's do it. Because when it gets hot, it'll feel great. Because
we went to Walmart and we picked up a reciprocating saw with a metal cutting bit.
Yeah. Right on. Do you guys live on base or what?
Yes, sir.
Did you on base with this?
Well, we saw that Texas state law says you got a windshield wiper, lights, signals, these 2 rear view mirrors. So.
No, I mean you're right, but I'm just saying they let you on base like this.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 rear view.
They're in the army. Probably private.
Yeah. So minimum requirement. No, 2. The center one on the windshield, and then the passenger side. Bare minimum.
No, it's both.
There's side view mirrors.
Okay. Wait, Jared, correction. In Texas, for the safety inspection, all lights, all turn signals, both front windshield wipers must work if it's equipped with 2. If it's equipped with 1, it must work. Now, there are safety exclusions, and this vehicle falls under the safety exclusion because the cage is not intact.
What?
Yeah.
So if the car were safer, it would be illegal. What?
If the car had doors, it would be legal. Because the car has no doors, it is illegal.
That's going to compromise its.
But because a car has doors, they have just been taken off.
I know, but without them, it'll compromise the
integrity of the roll
cage. The internal cage that the doors form.
The cop agrees with him, though.
Yeah, the cop is agreeing with him. That's what's weird.
Oh, he talks about it a little more, too.
All right, so let's go ahead and play.
Or something, trying to get away with as much as they can because they're driving around on base with no doors on. But everything they have is legal in the state of Texas, so they found the fine print, so to say. Where's your helmet?
Oh, I don't have one yet.
No? That's law, dude.
It is?
No, I'm just messing with you.
Could you pull that back a little bit? I didn't catch that.
Now,
I didn't really hear that all that well.
Now, at the point that this was recorded, the cop is right. It was legal in the state of Texas at that point. There is now the safety cage inclusion to the safety inspection now.
All right, so go ahead and play so Bo can hear that again.
They found the fine print, so to say. Where's your helmet?
Oh, I don't have one yet.
No? That's law, dude.
It is?
No, I'm just messing with you.
Well, actually, I ordered a Predator helmet, so.
There you go.
I would like to stress that, yes, this guy is Army, but he is American Army.
Oh,
yeah. European, he is American Army.
And he says that he's been in the Army for 10 years.
I think he's in the Army Reserve. I don't think he's actually in the Army.
Well, he might
Those
be
are
an
reservists.
He might be an active reservist.
Active reserve, but yeah.
But still, that
he does not even meet Army PT. I don't think he meets Air Force PT requirements. I think he's going to be doing some extra PT here. Furball, what's your take on that?
He might be able to meet the bare minimum, but he probably doesn't make height and weight.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I've seen slimmer chiefs.
This story just reminds me of shit that we pulled when I was in. We had or is it still? Are we done yet?
The rest of it's just the cop giving them credit for they're pushing it to the limits. I mean, they're like normal soldiers in the Army. They figure out exactly what they can get away with, and they do.
Well, and that's what happened with us. We were I was stationed at the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center, 29 Palms, and you ought to get hardship duty for that shit. Yeah. But anyhow, we were driving an old 68 CJ, and my buddy had to. He forgot to latch the fucking hood down.
Oh, God.
So as soon as we got up to 40 miles an hour, the hood flipped up, hit the windshield, shattered the windshield right in our laps. So we got no windshield on the damn Jeep, right? So we drive up to the base, and they wouldn't let us on the fucking base, right? You have to have a windshield. Here's the thing. The combat center is the largest, square mileage wise, the largest Marine base in the world. However, it is not federal property. It's leased from the county of San Bernardino, which means they have to follow California state law. And California state law, at least at the time, said that four-wheel drive vehicles are not required to have windshields.
And the Jeep's a four-wheel drive vehicle.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, they still wouldn't let us. So we went back and forth, and finally we reached a compromise. They would let us drive on base with the Jeep without a windshield as long as we were wearing goggles.
Oh,
Yep.
fucking love it.
Yeah.
Okay, I know this is dry, but still, I just don't understand it. It's ridiculous. It should be defined by the vehicle's what would you call it? Type approval. You know, if you have a van, for example, that has removable chairs in it, and you're allowed to take them out yourself, you know, without using tools and precision tools to moment, what do you call them? Moment wrenches to install them again. And if you're not allowed to do that yourself, you should not. You're not allowed to drive around without without those chairs. If you're allowed to take them out, you can drive around without them. Just as if it was a Jeep, if the car if the Jeep is type approved to be driven around without the windshield, either because it's flipped down or taken off, it shouldn't matter. I mean, okay, I may be reading way too much into it, but we're inflicted by a lot of EU rules and regulations. But yeah, I mean, here we're not even. If you have a Volkswagen Golf and you want the smoked glass for the rear lights, you're not allowed to do that because they are not type approved for that model, even though they work exactly just as fine. They meet all the requirements of visibility, etc. But since they're not type approved for it, you're not allowed to do it. You're not even allowed to unscrew the gear shift knob with a skull, for example, if you wanted to do that.
Really?
Because it's it's not type approved.
Well, so what's interesting is after I released the video I did showing the majority of the work to replace the turn signals and tail light on my bike, I had a talk with Geo Schreber about it. And what's interesting is that any sort of change like that, where he's at in Germany, pretty much once you do that sort of change, your car is in limbo until the work is inspected and approved. To the point where if you've done a modification like that and it hasn't been inspected and a cop pulls you over, they will tow your vehicle until the inspection can be completed.
Mm-hmm. And I totally understand it if it's major work that has been done for it on it. I get it, but
or safety
minor
equipment.
things, but minor things like screwing the original gear shift stick shift knob for an aftermarket one, even if it's even if it's a clone. Yeah, not even if it's a clone that is completely identical. It was just made by a the third shift in a sweatshop somewhere. Mm-hmm. It will still be. I don't think a police officer would ever cite you for it. And if when it goes through its biannual inspection, I don't think it would be a problem.
Well, and that's
unless it's a dickhead going through it, but.
Well, and that's where it gets interesting because when it comes to
just look at the NonSeq live stream.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Hang on, let's take a look. At
I can't hear it right now, but
I'm smoking, so I can't go look at it yet.
Best YouTube. What?
Hold on. Let me go back a little bit here.
What are you looking at? Oh, it's just go
there
back.
You go.
There you go. It's on fire. It's literally on fire.
Oh yeah. They will do that every now and then. Yeah.
Oh wait.
It's just the first time I've seen it. I've
in Team
been away
Skeptics,
for a while.
in Team Skeptics Discord in the general, they're asking what type of dumpster fire it is. White phosphorus, magnesium, Wildman Fujiyama, thermite fueled.
Nice. I will have to go back and watch that after then. But so here's the interesting thing. With that topic coming up with Gio, it was actually kind of frustrating when it came to choosing the lights to replace my turn signals with, because the vast majority of aftermarket replacement turn signals for a motorcycle are actually listed as not DOT approved, show use only. Here's the problem. The actual intensity...
I don't know anything. Yeah.
Well, DOT is the Department of Transportation.
Well, I know that part, yeah.
Yeah, so you have easily 70 to 80% of aftermarket turn signals are LED or shaped in such a way that they have to be marked as for show use only, not DOT approved, because the US hasn't updated the actual technical side of this shit in about 25 years. But here's the thing. The actual intensity of the light from my turn signals is more than enough to pass the actual testing if they actually were to do it.
Now, I don't know anything about motorbikes, but when you talk about a car, if you have turn signals and well, it'll be a problem with the headlight as well, but mostly turn signals. You have the old incandescent bulbs, and you want to swap them out for LEDs. Yep. If they're the cheap eBay ones, at least from the ones you could when they started selling that stuff on eBay, you could install it, but it wouldn't work because they use a lot less electricity. And that would mean that first of all, the circuits that makes the turn signals blink, that's mechanical, so it'll just really fast, and the computer will also freak out.
Yeah, which is why a lot of the proper LED ones come with a load resistor for each light.
Yeah.
To fix that, to address that issue.
Yeah, and unfortunately, many of them, at least of them, those that I've glassed over when searching for stuff I can't buy anyway because I don't have the money. They have the bleed resistor, load resistor, sorry, in the housing, on the housing of the light itself. It's not a good thing for your LED, so it most likely burns out really quickly, especially if you use it in a hot area.
Well, it really depends.
See, I can see there's an issue with that, especially when we talk about the headlights. If it's one of the more intelligently programmed computers in your car, it'll show up. Okay, something's wrong with your lights, but mostly it'll probably don't do it, but it'll burn out your lights quickly. And you won't have the proper spread of light. You have the potential to blind other people.
Well,
using it. Just a quick correction. The reason why you have a light blinking really fast is not that part is built into the car to do that. It's designed to do that, and it's to let you know that there's a burnt out bulb.
Yep.
If on the older vehicles, like on my old truck or my old Buick, if a light burnt out on that, it wouldn't blink at all. It wouldn't work at all, and that's one of the issues with the LEDs, installing them on older vehicles like this, is that there might be enough current flow over that bimetal strip in the blink switch itself,
exactly,
in the blinker mechanism to trip it. On the other, on newer vehicles, on the
and he dropped.
And he went. What I think he was.
I know what he's talking about.
I think he was LEDs. About to say that on newer cars, it is controlled by the blinking frequency is controlled by the computer.
It is, and that's where
I haven't seen that yet, but
so it is, and that's where the lower voltage and lower current will lead to hyperflash, because it'll go into that fault mode setting. And
looks like I was gonna say, it looks like Hip Hop Hippie dropped out.
Oh, But that's where,
Yeah.
so if you go to the HE2 Moto and watch that, I even mentioned where I put the load resistors on each side on the rear end, but because of the way the system is wired up, I only needed to put them on one end of it instead of having to put load resistors on the front and the rear.
Yeah, but it's yeah. It would be great if you were able to program your way out of it.
It depends
Oh no,
on
it looks like
the age of it.
It looks like hip hop hippie rage quit because it went from unbitch made to now hashtag bitch made.
Oh, so it wasn't because of quote
Technical issue?
issues,
No.
unquote.
No.
The usual.
No, they get butthurt and they rage quit because they can't stand it when people actually put their feet to the fire and force them to substantiate their bullshit.
Yeah, funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, it's the reason why a lot of them don't even want to interact with me anymore, because I cut right through it and just hit right to the point. Is you're making this claim, substantiate it, back it up.
Well,
yeah.
Speaking of being back in Mesquite, Texas today, I actually did run into that supervisor that did that one video where they pulled over the guy that had the earth is flat on the back of his car. And he said he told me when he saw my vehicle, he said, the number one way to keep that from getting stolen is to put the earth is flat on the back of it. And I started laughing at him and he was like, no, we've actually had some really nice cars that had the earth was flat or a flat earth sticker on the back of it. They won't get stolen, and they'll take a vehicle that's like 3 or 4 years newer with dents in the door panels instead of having to drive the earth is flat around.
Yeah, because they don't want to be seen as an idiot.
They don't want to be seen. It's bad when you put the earth is flat on the back of your vehicle. You're guaranteeing yourself an anti-theft device. That's classic.
I saw a video that came up yesterday from I think it was Van Balen. I haven't watched the video itself yet, but I did, catch some glimpse of the comments thread on the video. Somebody made a really good point. If you are one of those people who have outstanding warrants, it's probably not a good thing to plaster your car with stupid stickers saying stuff like, well, not for hire, et cetera, et cetera. But they're too stupid, apparently.
Well, didn't we have this conversation last night, Bo?
I'm not sure.
Probably.
I mean, I can't remember half of it. I only had I don't remember 3 hours.
I vaguely
sleep. So,
well, I was 3 sheets to the wind by the time we had that conversation. Anyway, so I mean, Jared wasn't around, and I blame him for my introducing alcohol into the whole thing because I was just absolutely bored, and there was nothing else to do other than drink myself into an obliterated state.
Ooh,
I mean,
oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
No, go ahead, Bo.
No, I remember it wasn't you specifically. I was talking about I was talking to Tank about stupid shit that some people are stupid assholes when it comes to not treating their cars right. When the brakes start squealing hard when you brake, not just a slight when you brake, but a squeal. It's probably something you might want to get checked out.
You got a little time.
No. My first car was a 1980 Chevy Monza. When I first got it, the master cylinder was jacked up beyond all belief. It was completely done. So the brakes would eat through the rotor like quickly.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was driving to school one day and I had to make a left turn into my school. What is that?
Alan.
Sorry,
anyway,
just trying to adjust my glasses.
Well, I hit the brakes one day and my car took a hard left turn into the parking lot. right in front of the traffic cop, and he was like, "How did you make that left-hand turn when you let go of the steering wheel?" And I told him, "Go drive the car." He drove the car and booted it right there in the high school parking lot.
Shit.
He was like, "You're not going anywhere. This vehicle's getting towed to your mechanic right now. Let's go inside and call your dad." And I was like, "Well, my dad's already on his way to work." And he goes, "We'll call your dad when he gets to work, and we'll leave a message for him to call the high school or the police department." I was like, "Oh, great." Dad was like, "Why didn't you tell me the brakes were so bad?" I was like, "Dad, I told you that 3 days ago, before the weekend hit. And you said you would look into getting it taken care of over the weekend. Where did we go? We went to your parents' house." I rest my case. It was pretty funny because that car sat there in the school parking lot with a parking boot on it for 2 days.
If your brake pedal goes all the way to the floorboard, you might have a problem.
No, that was the thing, was my brake pedal was not going all the way to the floor. It would grip hard on the left side and force it to turn left. You couldn't hold the steering wheel when you hit the brakes. You couldn't hold the steering wheel straight because it had rack and pinion only steering. So yeah, it was fun trying to hold on to that.
Yeah, that's my opinion on Russian bits too.
I second that.
We have. Hey, R2D2 is visiting us. That's lovely.
No, someone just transferred from the Matrix.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hang on, I got to give these two dogs an ice cube. They rushed up on me demanding ice. Yeah, not that.
Woo. There it is again.
Whoa.
So actually, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go check to see if there was any clarification made on what's going on with the rest of the night.
Oh, good.
Nope, of course not there.
Oh, let's see.
So...
Hey, good ice.
So when is movie night going on now?
I don't know.
I remember
I have not heard.
Sai either talking about or being suggested that they could make a movie night live on location kind of thing, perhaps instead of a regular movie night. But I'm not sure what it is.
Well, yeah, there was the idea of
looking in the panel chat, or
yeah. So I looked there. I looked in general and a few other places, and it's just one of those things of when there's no information given, then nothing can be determined.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things.
But
it was
it's so much more fun to make up.
The idea of it being a NASA special, so a non-stupid show, was floated out there, but that was the last that I know was said about it.
Same here.
I don't know. I'm not on movie night, so.
Yeah. Well, again, it also puts a wrench into everything that I have going on because, yay. Because back to what we were talking about before, where weather is a potential issue, but it's one of those, knowing my luck, I can plan for the game to be rained out. Wait, who? Wait, what video is this? Joe wrote... Oh, God. Oh, the Atom... Oh, my God.
Yes, I'm downloading it.
Oh, it just...
It sounds like I should be thankful that I don't know who that guy is.
Adam ruins everything. That guy.
That sounds like a YouTube name.
No. That's the name.
It was a Facebook thing.
It started out on College Humor, and then became its own TV show.
Yeah, it's
On comedy.
here. I'll pull up the website.
Okay, to me, since I'm kind of innocently
Pretty
what
much.
would you call it? Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but I do know that there's a certain skit. No, they don't like people calling it that. A sketch that College Humor made that was sadly pulled down because of wannabe feminists crying, crying their asses off. And I fucking love that video. And what I've seen, pretty much all of College Humor's video sketches, I love them.
No, this
guy
is
a turd, I guess.
This guy will irritate the shit out of you because he started out so early on, like season 1 of this. Most of his points were actually very salient and actually stuck with the facts. But now, here we are in season 3, and he has gone off the fucking rails.
Oh, shall I pull up the last one that Sinatra did before the Joe Rogan?
If you,
I won't play it. I'll just show it.
If you just want to, go ahead and bring it up and show it, and we'll see. What the fuck are you doing? You wished.
I
suggest buying some WD-40.
I opened the screen door. It's not my screen door. Don't bitch at me about it.
It's just a lot of fucking noise as we're having a conversation going on.
the owner of the house that I'm staying at, my nephew needs to spray his shit down, but he hasn't done it yet. So yeah.
Get it ready, Jay.
Yeah. So this one is Adam Ruins the Wall. Let's see. Let's go to a good just. All right. So this one is that Adam Ruins Everything, the border wall.
I don't see how he can ruin something that hasn't been completed yet.
He's trying to undermine the idea of one, except here's the problem. The majority of countries that actually give a shit about border security have some sort of physical deterrent.
Exactly.
This isn't the guy, the asshole that thinks that, seriously thinks that mounting mounting machine guns, etc., on the wall is a good thing.
No,
that's not the guy, is it?
No, this guy Adam is the one who thinks that the idea and premise of an alpha male is just a way to excuse being an asshole.
Oh, I forgot they did this one too.
I'm sure I heard that wrong because that was fucking retarded.
No, you did not hear that wrong. He did. He did an episode on Adam ruins alpha males and tries to say that the alpha male is actually not really a thing. It's just people being assholes and trying to justify it.
In other words, he's an idiot that should not be listened to at all.
Obviously, he did not pay his YouTube subscription fee for YouTube Premium and watch Cobra Kai.
Oh, no. He is a beta through and through. He is a fucking cuck.
They don't have it in the sources now.
Did you just ask what, when I said Cobra Kai, did you just ask what about that statement?
Me? No.
No, Bo.
Bo, I would not be surprised that Bo does not know what Cobra Kai is.
I would be shocked if he didn't.
I constantly YouTube is constantly trying to get me to pay to watch it, or try the free trial version of I can't remember if it's YouTube Red. I have a subscription for that one. That's RedTube. Sorry,
no, it's
YouTube Red. YouTube Red. Yeah, or premium. Yeah, but no, I haven't watched it. I don't even know what it's about.
So hang on. Do you remember? Do you remember the movie Karate Kid?
Karate Kid.
Oh, don't. Oh no! Don't tell me they.
Cobra Kai is the dojo of the blonde haired guy. And here's the kicker. The series Cobra Kai on YouTube actually follows that character, as they are now the person in charge of the dojo.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was thinking they made a
cake?
remake of it or something.
No, it's a 20, 30 year later sequel type thing. And here's the kicker. Here is the kicker. Ralph Macchio makes a couple cameo appearances.
Yeah,
No,
he
he
owns
does
the
not.
dealership in town.
He does not make a couple of cameo appearances. He is
he's in it full time. See,
he's in it full time.
I only saw a couple episodes of it from someone else.
No, I've watched the entirety of season 1 and 2, and I've been binging on that all week.
Did they at least do a good job of that series?
Oh yes. And in season 2, John Kreese comes back for several episodes. I'm not going to tell you how many, but you need to kind of watch it and see it. You need to find a bootleg copy somewhere of it online. There are several sites that are trying to keep it up and running while being hit with DCMA takedowns that are actually legitimate DCMA takedowns, but they're out there in the wild, but you got to catch them pretty quick before the DCMAs hit the websites.
Here's a list of Adam sources for his Adam Ruins Guns latest.
Adam can't ruin guns. Adam cannot ruin guns in the United States. Guns would ruin Adam.
No, here's the thing. Adam ruins every topic he talks about because he doesn't know how to address it from an intellectually honest standpoint.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He ruins the conversation by being a biased jackass.
Yeah.
So he is the total antithesis to Crowder's Change My Mind segments.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I've disagreed with Crowder on a couple of points that he's made. Okay. But on his Second Amendment stance, on his gun stance, I agree with him.
Well, and the thing is Crowder is willing to have the conversation with people that disagree with him. His biggest thing, like myself and others, is if you are claiming this to be an informed stance, have it with them. Like, be able to support what you say, be able to give a reason why you think this is the best course of action.
Yep. Indeed.
I mean, hey, I'm just still thinking about the Cobra Kai thing. I like the Karate Kid movies, but I'm not in a way that I want to watch the movie again anytime soon. So I mean, the Cobra Kai, probably not going to watch it. I mean, I do have the ability to, accept the free trial thing just to watch it, but
it's interesting because they actually do take the comedic slant of it and actually turn the tables in a watchable, enjoyable way. Because keep in mind, so in the show How I Met Your Mother, the character of Barney Stinson always viewed the blonde as the actual hero of the Karate Kid movie. And the Cobra Kai, the idea behind the show came from that mindset, from the, wait a minute, what if he actually was the hero of the story?
But it's kind of funny because they left the door at the end of this season, they left the door wide open for Allie Mills to come back. What's her name? Jared, help me out. Who was Johnny's girlfriend in the first one?
Oh, I can't remember.
She was a total babe then. She's still a total babe now. But anyway, it was kind of funny. She was in 1984. She was in a bomb movie and in a bomb movie. I mean, for lack of a better term,
she hit
Elizabeth Shue.
Oh, it was Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, it
Yep.
was Elizabeth.
What was it? A
She
real
was
Bond
in-
movie or?
No, a bomb. B-O-M-B.
So,
Oh, okay.
so a shit horrible movie and a shit hot movie.
Yeah.
Ah,
In 1984, she was in 2 movies. One was Karate Kid. Everybody's heard of it. Anybody here heard of Space Camp?
Oh God.
Oh God.
Yep. Yes.
I haven't been.
Space
I
Camp,
would love to
remember
have been
that.
to a space camp when I was a kid, but that's not what you mean, probably.
No, it's a movie, Bo. It's a movie.
Yeah, I remember it.
And
It was
she was in. Yeah, it was bad. And what was really bad was it got delayed in production until after the Challenger accident. Then they released it the following year. So yeah, in the span of a year's time, she filmed 2 movies. One of them was delayed until after that movie. And Many Comedic Arts has a 10 things about it. And if you ever go watch his channel, I strongly suggest you do, because it's very interesting and informative. Because this guy does his research on the movies he entails, and he digs up some serious dirt on stuff.
As long as he does it, in an unbiased way, not specifically looking for dirt.
No, he doesn't. I mean, it's not all dirt. I mean, some of it's rather interesting. The stuff on the stuff on Back to the Future, Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 3, when he covered those, was completely, non-biased. I mean, it was information that's out there that everybody knows. And finally, there are stories from Hollywood that won't get told for 25 or 30 years after a movie's release, whether it was good, bad, or otherwise. So yeah, you kind of have that aspect of it. It's kind of like, think of it like this. Think of the Runaways in the 1970s.
Blank. Nope. Haven't seen it.
Joan Jett, Sherry Curry.
Doesn't
they were
help.
in a group. Joan Jett and the Blackhawks or Blackhearts.
You gotta
Oh,
remember.
I was born in '78 in Denmark. No.
Yeah, you got to remember at the time that movie came out, Europe was about 15 years behind musically.
True.
And I also, I grew up having only between 2 and 7 TV channels, and only 2 of those were Danish. The rest
So
were
basically,
German.
basically, let me see. Bo was born about the time that his parents were dancing to Dancing Queen.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
they
pretty much.
were definitely not dancing to that kind of stuff. But that's a different story.
But they could have been, because ABBA was still a popular band at the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean my parents are in the 70s, so yeah.
Yeah.
Mid 70s to late 70s, yeah. So.
Well, see, I was born in '73, so I'm 5 years older than you. So therefore, yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those things where I've heard a lot more music. I mean, I can remember when "Sunshine on Your Shoulder" or "Sunshine on My Shoulder Makes Me Happy" was a big John Denver hit.
I grew up remembering that, knowing that song because Kermit the Frog sang it to Miss Piggy.
Yeah,
that's where I learned it from a German record. A proper record. With German dialogue, but at least they didn't touch the songs. That was in original American language.
That would have been something. That would have been something to hear Jim Henson sing "The Rainbow Connection" in German.
Oh, that would be weird. It's
So
something
how many
that
of us were born in '73? Because Clockwork Rex just said he was born in '73. I was born in '73.
I'm sorry.
Holy shit, there's a lot of 46-year-olds in this chat tonight. I thought I was going to be the old man tonight. Well, no, Alan.
No, Alan's here, so.
Yeah, I corrected myself.
Yep,
I said,
me
Alan's
too.
got me beat. God damn it, was that Piggy?
Here you go, Jared. Maybe one that actually might be right.
But knowing him, I really don't.
Knowing who?
A broken
Me?
a broken clock is right twice a day, at least an analog one.
A 12-hour one, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and analog with our hands. Yeah, that's usually
Well,
right
there
twice
are
a day.
some that are 24-hour that.
Some people
turn.
do the 24-hour.
Yeah.
There are also analog
Yeah, but see,
clocks
you
that are not does not have hands. But the wall clock at my sister's apartment, I mean, she has a binary wristwatch. The wall clock is also binary, and it's mechanical. So there's that.
Nice.
Yeah, she's a geek that way. I don't know why. I mean,
Oh.
she's not into computers. I mean, she knows how to use a computer, but she's not a computer geek or anything.
Back. Well,
To the future?
No, I'm trying to remember which professor it was that I had, but it was one of my math professors in his office. He had a clock that all of the times were. It wasn't just straight numbers. It was actually a different mathematical notation that, when solved, gave you the number.
So you had to do a math equation just to figure out what the time was? Oh man!
But they were actually fairly simple ones for people who were math majors.
Fortunately, I wasn't a math major.
I should not have scrolled.
So it's like one of those tricks where you show someone your watch and they get confused.
Well, yeah.
Now, who is this? Okay, wait a second. Who is this Davis over on the Non-Seq Show now facing off against Father Skeptic? And
no clue. I'm not watching. I have no clue. But here's the great thing. He actually said that clock actually does give him a read on who's actually going to succeed in the program or not. Because if the person comes in, looks at it, and takes a second and then chuckles, he knows that they're 90% likely going to make it through the program.
That's probably not entirely accurate. I mean, I'm not good at doing math equations, especially not on the fly in my head. But if I saw a clock like that, I would definitely just gawk at it for a second or two and then start giggling a little.
It's like when someone asked
I would
to borrow
get, okay, this is a geek.
Like back in the day, someone asked me to borrow my scientific calculator, and I had an RPN one, so I'd hand it to them, and they get so confused.
I could see the humor in that kind of thing, without actually knowing what it says. And by the way, I do so enjoy watching people asking my sister what the time is. I've only seen it once, unfortunately, but she has that, she's kind of devilish, which is weird because she's she's a pastor. But when people ask her what the time is, instead of saying what the time is, she has that mean streak in her. She just shows them her watch, just to mess with them. Yeah, I need to get a binary. Wait, no, I need to build one myself. I have everything I need to do it. Just to make a standard binary clock.
Well, when I was going through anger management, one of the things they told us was, you start feeling that rage coming up, just stop and breathe and count to 10. So I did in binary.
Oh man.
Or how about I'm gonna put this one into the live chat.
I also sent you a new link in the Discord, Jared. When you're done with that.
There are that many types of people in the world. Those that understand binary. Yeah, I know. Red just went live, and I was planning on closing this down anyways because
I was getting ready to go live.
who? What?
And also, I messaged
I was asking
privately.
Pig, Bo. What did you say, Pig?
Oh, Sai's getting ready to go live too, soon.
Yeah, I love how these people tell me these things, especially when I ask them, "Hey, what's the plan?" and then get nothing.
But this is something like new, like a spur of the moment type thing. I just got to set it up, so I just got to wait for him to finish eating, and then I'll call him, and then I'll touch him inappropriately, probably.
No, don't do that. Good guy.
It's only Sai. I mean, he's bald. I'll just rub the dick.
Yeah, but you can't whip your dick out and try to masturbate against it.
Oh, but he will.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I know he will.
Speaking of it, I have a question, Jared.
I might have an answer.
No, Jared does not have your tweezers to masturbate with tonight.
Oh, damn it!
I don't have the microscope either. If you want the electron scanning tunneling microscope, you need to go talk to Microbloganism or Geoserver.
Okay, how does that look?
Like a moving star field behind everything.
Perfect. That's what I was going for. Right?
But it's
kind of
it only has one layer.
But it's kind of thin, so
yeah. I mean, it's not ugly, but it only has one layer.
Well,
that's a good one too, Tech.
Here's the thing about Look-a-Pig. Look-a-Pig would play World of Warcraft just so his orc could have an orgasm.
Oh. Excuse me while I facepalm.
And
Ow.
with that,